she's not your typical boss at all. Most bosses would not care what's going on in your life. If I'm having a problem with one of my girls, she's like, what can we do? It's never a no with Stephanie. It's always, sorry. It's always of what can we do together to make this better for you, make this better for your kids, for your work ethic. And that's huge to me. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm the lead sales at Vita. When I found out that my last company that I was working with were closing their businesses, I started reaching out to local customers that I had dealt with just to see what was out there. I was a newly single mom. Knew the adventures were about to change, and I came across Vita's website, what they were looking for, their criteria in a customer, their criteria in an employee, and it just really stood out to me. So I sent them my resume and came back a questionnaire of, I think 12 questions. Some hit really hard at first. They were kind of hard for me to answer being a single mom, and I just really appealed to their videos that they had, their Christmas parties, their character, their products were interesting to me, and especially their hours.
My name is Lee Karen, and I am the visual manager at Vita. I started working at Vita about 5, going on 6 years now. So I used to work for a corporate business, and I worked there for probably the first 3 or 4 years of my career. I had never worked for a small business before. And was approached by a friend who knew of Vita and was kind of telling me about how they support local vendors. And so I ended up going on an interview with Stephanie and talking to her more in depth about that. But it was a big jump because I never, like I said, never worked for a small business before. But hearing her enthusiasm and how invested she was in her business was something that was really inspiring to me. And I also felt that I would be able to have a bit more creative freedom in my role here versus in a corporate office where things are more so handed down from the top for you to kind of implement. So being able to be part of the creative journey through a company was really exciting to me.
Let's see, my first memory of Stephanie. It might not be my first memory, but it's one. We were very small 6 years ago. She was in an office with 3 people, and she was the owner of the store but did not have a desk. She sometimes worked on a box, or she worked standing up while the other 2 people had a chair. If you had a meeting, we went outside by the dumpsters and had our meetings or our powwows. So I just thought that was comical that here she is running this company, but she didn't have an office. And so that was just one of my things that she just gives back. Now she has this glorious office that we go to, and I think it's amazing that she's moved the needle so far that we are in this big, beautiful new store.
My name is Laura, and I'm the inventory manager and assistant buyer. Stephanie has poured into me so much over the past 9 years. When I first started, I barely had any retail experience. I'd worked for a few months at a corporate retail store, and there's not a lot of similarities between a big corporation and small business. So I think she'd probably agree that I was a little bit of a project when I started. Yeah, she has taken so much time to just have one-on-ones with me. She is a smart businesswoman, so she is just a wealth of knowledge, and it's been exciting to get to learn from her.
We had to push back my start date because it snowed, and there was another employee that was starting with me. I called Stephanie and told her, I was like, I don't have childcare, my kids are out of school, no worries, we'll start 2 days later. So 2 days later we walked in, she's kind of scooped us in and told us about our weekly meetings, and our meetings were with Sage. Her little girl was an infant at the time, and she would sleep on the bed while we had our powwows, which were comical because we would only have about 5 or 6 employees there at the time. And our store was so small that you could probably take 4 employees and stretch your arms out and hit wall to wall. So we'd basically gone all the way up with all of our fixtures, or PJ Harlow, wherever. And now you go to this big grand store and there's windows everywhere and you can see outside, and it's more of an experience to come shop at our store now than where the last time it'd be like one loop around, you're like, okay, thanks, I'm done. Now people are actually coming just to walk around, have a cup of coffee, and experience what Bella Vita has to offer for them.
I'm Emily Osier, and I go by EMYO. I really tried to pick places to put my work in that everyday people who loved beautiful things would not feel intimidated to walk in and discover my work. And so Bella Vita was one of those places. I say I like to put my work in places people love to go.
Yeah, so about a year and a half in, I actually quit. I told Steph, I gave her my 2 weeks, and her response was kind of like, no, we're gonna talk about this. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I wasn't really sure where I fit in with Bella Vita overall. And so it was just, Steph's response still just makes me laugh. It was a pretty amazing response to have after someone quits and they're like, no, let's talk about this. We're gonna figure out what's best for you, what's best for Bella Vita, and we're gonna make those things work. So the reason why I've stayed so long is because Bella Vita is so good about finding what your natural strengths are and building positions around that, which is how I ended up in inventory. So I was able to kind of build this position, and when I first started, it wasn't something we necessarily needed, but as we've grown so much, it came about, and so I stuck around and still here. It's been working out, so.
If any of you guys know Stephanie, she's gonna tell it to you how it is. So even, I think she knows her employees like the back of her hand. She knows what they need in certain moments, how to push you, but also how to not push you too far. So I think that my emotion comes from the unexpectancy of having that person take that role in my life when I just kind of put them in a box of being my boss. But to have someone that truly cares.
Stephanie has poured into me not only on a professional level, but also a personal level. She knows my family, I know hers. I just think it's rare to be able to have a personal relationship like that with a boss, and she just genuinely cares about what's going on in your life. So she pours in on all levels.
There are numerous things that Stephanie and Brent has done for myself and my girls that, normal business people would not do. They would not invest time, understanding of, hey, I might need to leave, my child's sick, or coming to one of my daughter's dance events, sending me a sweet little note of, congratulations, your daughter won an art, go have dinner on us. Just little things. I moved into a new home, and the time that I was working with Brent and Stephanie, they showed up at my doorstep with their kids in the back, knocking on the door with its beautiful frame. Welcome home. We know you're scared about this, but just always encouraging to me. You can do this. It's more of a family set that I have with Stephanie. I can go into her door and tell her, hey, I need to talk to you. I need to get this off of my chest before I can go out on the sales floor. And it's not, sometimes it's about business and sometimes it's not, but she encourages me just not only as an employer, but also as a friend, a mentor, and someone that can actually just push me in the right direction.
Hi, my name is Steve Losserwith. I'm Stephanie's dad.
I'm Lori Lostwith, and I am her mother.
We knew that Stephanie was driven. She had a vision. She was bound and determined to take a very small business and build it to a business as large as she could.
I remember the previous owner said, now, you're going to understand that your summers are going to be slow. And she went, nope. That's when weddings occur. So, she had some really great insight from the beginning. So I think that's where she really changed the destiny of Bella Vita at that point.
Yeah, there was no holding her back. There was no such thing as a small business or a big business. It was a business in constant growth. And I don't think she's ever lost that vision or desire today.
But I think also what she's done in an incredibly excellent way is to surround herself with other people that have other talents than her own, so that she can then have a collaboration of traits or assets to the growth of the company. So it's really worked out well. She's done an excellent job bringing on excellent individuals that have helped her and have the same loyalty that she does for them as they do for her. And it's a family. It's really close, and I like to see that. I think that's a real value. I think she found that family was real important through the accident, and so I think that type of relationship is real important to her, to have that trust with the individuals that she surrounds herself with.
Yeah, she's been incredibly blessed with some phenomenal people, and I think collectively, as Lori had indicated, the business has grown and will continue to grow. It's amazing to go amongst the community and friends and talk about this, that, and the other, but we mentioned Bella Vita, and people go, Bella Vita? I know Bella Vita. I've been there. We shop there. So the public awareness is great, and the appreciation for Bella Vita, the service, the quality of merchandise, the people that work there is overwhelmingly positive. So we're thrilled, and she has done a phenomenal job, but the team collectively has made this business what it is today. Lori and I were talking about that not too long ago, and certainly when she opened the new store, the new location, was really exciting to know where they had come from, just Lori and Stephanie, to an incredible retail side that was unlike many of the businesses in town. So there wasn't anything like that, and it was fun to see that. And as I told Lori, I said, one of the, I guess, if I want to talk about proud moments, it's for Dad walking in the store and hearing this, "Hi, Dad." I mean, every time I hear that, I can't help but be excited and proud. I think Lori and I both are extremely, I guess, pleased, happy that we have a customer base that supports Stephanie and her business throughout the community. Obviously, without them, she wouldn't be where she is today.
It's fun to have some of these open houses and have some people come in and say, "Oh, I remember when you were in Trinity, that small little place, I have this and this from that." So there's been followers that have come through and continue to be supporters of her just because of her story, because of her being so young at the start, and then just having a good quality of business to care for their customers.
So to all those customers out there,
Yes.
we thank you for supporting Stephanie, Bella Vita, and their family.
Yes.
Thank you so much for all of your support for the last 20 years. These last 6 years have been completely amazing, mind-blowing of the support with our community. Come out and shop small, people, and just remember that we love you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing a product into your homes. Thank you for bringing us into your homes. Thank you for just walking life with us. Thank you for letting us serve you guys. And in turn, thank you for serving us.
To our customers, I would just want to say thank you. We would not be where we are today without y'all and your support, especially after this past year. Y'all always show up for us, but you really came out this past year. We look forward to continuing to serve you, and just thank you.